Kicking off the next part of these storm summaries is Tropical Storm Ida in the Atlantic, which was the final of a succession of boring storms there. Didn't do much, 50 miles an hour. On the other side of the North American continent, it was Tropical Storm Kevin, which reached a peak wind speed of 60 miles an hour. Looked like it would be a hurricane for some time, but didn't get there in the end and fizzled out well before land. This was followed by Hurricane Linda. At one point it looked like it might have followed its 1997 counterpart, but ended up only reaching 125 mile an hour winds and causing $30,000 of damages when it closed in on Mexico, but didn't make a landfall. Then we had Tropical Depression 16E, which was a mainly disruptive storm in terms of flooding, causing over $17 million of damages despite its weak strength. And this was followed by two Central Pacific storms, Malia and Nyala, which didn't really do anything, though Nyala wasn't too far away from Hawaii when it passed. Then we had a weak Arabian Sea storm, Tropical Storm 3, didn't last very long at all, off the west coast of India, and Super Typhoon Sudalor, which ended up causing $3 billion of damages after it made its trek across the West Pacific, passing near the Mariana Islands as a significant cyclone, then bombing out as a very strong Category 5 with winds of 180 miles an hour, and then making a major typhoon landfall on Taiwan and still being a typhoon by the time it reached China. Pretty bad storm. Particularly for its damages, not so much its fatalities. It wasn't that much of a deadly storm, thankfully, but 38 is still a pretty significant number. This was followed by Tropical Depression 14W, which did very little near Japan, Tropical Storm Malawi, which became a tropical storm on two occasions, but didn't really cause a problem to Japan there either, and then Typhoon Goni, a 130 mile an hour Category 4, reaching that intensity on 3 occasions no less, with damages of 293 million and 34 fatalities as a result. There it is, passing through the Mariana Islands. They got battered as well this year, by the way, and then it bombed out after that, as many storms seem to have done this year. Here's satellite imagery of how it passed. You can see Etsani on the right as well on the infrared imagery there. But tracking Goni, you can see how it really developed pinhole eye for a while and then formed a new eye after that, which gave way to a bit of weakening. Could have been a Cat 5 otherwise, perhaps, don't you think? So then after weakening, it approached the Philippines, reached Category 4 on its second occasion, stalled around Luzon for some time, and you can see its presentation looking very good there on its closest approach to the Philippines, and then just waxing and waning again here around Luzon there. Fantastic imagery, by the way, from the Himawari satellite. Beautiful resolution and capture rate, I suppose. 10-minute imagery or better, 2.5-minute imagery on the visible there, so fantastic new imagery from the Himawari satellite this year. And there it was, moving towards the northeast, rumours of a Cat 5 at one point, but it still only reached a Cat 4 when it passed the Japanese islands, and then it made a landfall in Kyushu as a Category 3 storm. Super Typhoon Etsani was to the east of Goni throughout that period in August, reaching a peak wind speed of 160 miles an hour, looked very impressive on the visible imagery, had a very wide eye, around 50 miles wide, and a dry centre of that eye as well, signifying some significant strength of that storm there. Imagine if we had hurricane hunters in the West Pacific, how they would do tracking this storm. It probably would have made for some remarkable flights. But there is the storm moving towards the northeast in its last days, and then turning post-tropical as it headed too far north. And then Tropical Storm Etau, which punched Japan as well as a tropical storm, though. 65 miles an hour was its peak intensity, causing nearly $100 million of damages due to heavy rainfall causing mudslides and the like over in Japan, and 8 fatalities resulting from that storm.